Sometimes I just don't know, especially on Wednesdays, which is fine, which is all good. So, okay, so yeah, today our theme is trust, it's quality of trust. And of course, that sounds lovely, like trust, you know, when we trust, and you know, in this situation, speaking about, you know, trusting in the unfolding of life. There's lots of things we can trust: people, situations, companies, etc. But this is, you know, kind of about trusting the flow of life, because we know life is crazy and unpredictable many times. Even the things that are somewhat, you know, expected and predictable, you know, will still bring us into situations that are, you know, challenging and not always what we wanted to happen, etc. So to be able to trust in the flow is, you know, a big part of how we move through life with more grace. And the thing is, to have an experience of trust, there has to be something that we're trusting in. You know, so it's one thing to, you know, to be considering, like, say, a relationship, whether it's personal or professional, whatever. You know, there's something, you know, that's been earned. There's something that's felt that you know that you can trust and surrender into. And so, what is that with life? Like, how do we trust in the flow of life? Like, what's there? And you know, it can be part of just the, yeah, it's as if there can be a relationship, we could say, with life. You know, maybe we've been through some challenging things, but we've seen that on the other side, there's, you know, growth and new beginnings. And that is something to trust in, just in the bigger picture of it. Or we felt, you know, and this is, you know, more maybe spiritual, or, you know, however we think about it, just that, you know, that there's been a way that we've felt held as we move through difficult things, etc. But in terms of our yoga practice, you know, I feel like obviously there's so much that we're doing as we're practicing yoga, but the way that we are connecting to our core support that we feel physically, that's when our core is working well and it's feeling strong, and when we just even do a practice, we really focus on that. You know, we feel held in ourselves. There's even a transformation in how we start to feel in our poses. Like, we feel, you know, more, you know, steady and able to, you know, do more, you know, deeper, more challenging things in our practice, because we feel that inner support. And that's something that, though, yes, it's something that we can start to trust. It's a way that we can build trust even in our own self. And I think that, you know, feeling our core isn't just a physical thing, though very much it is. But there's something about it that's, you know, mental, energetic, and even, you know, the yoga tradition would point to, and I guess pretty much all spiritual traditions, is like, you know, we're feeling a support inside of ourselves that is bigger than us. And I think even though the core is muscles and breath and etc., you know, there's a direct connection to that feeling of connecting to something more when we're in our center. You know, it's something we talk about all the time in yoga. Like, what is that, to be in your center? Like, what is actually happening there? So that's one thing that we can do, as well as, I feel, another dimension of it is the breath, and more than just breath in and out. So that, you know, on that level of, you know, physical respiration and just experience of the continuity and the flow of the breath, and in a way that it is a feeling of being supported by and held by that. Like, that's just always there, no matter what's going on. You know, something else we can trust into, as well as the deeper flow of the breath, the life force, you know, the prana, which is more than just breath in and breath out. It's like a full body. It can be experienced as a full body flow, a full body circulation. We know in yoga we're really opening that flow up and creating a, you know, deeper streaming and harmony in that flow. And it always just feels good, and even it expresses the intelligence and the harmony that's like the baseline of life, as much as life can be chaotic and crazy sometimes. And so to feel that is something we can trust, you know, feel as something we can trust. And so these are things I think of in terms of how does yoga support our capacity to trust life, and to connect to the strength of our core, and to connect into and feel open to more of that sense of the flow of the life force. That very tangibly supports and carries us in a lot of ways. So that it's like a way of, yes, it's like ultimately learning to trust ourselves, but it's more than just ourselves on some small level, like therefore we have to do it all ourselves, and we're an island, and etc., but we can get through it or whatever. It's not that. But maybe there's some of that, like a sense of how cool is it when when you're like freaking out about something, that you like, let me just go do some yoga, let me roll on my mat and get myself sorted out. I mean, that's very empowering. In that sense, it's like we can find within ourselves, what we need. But is that what we find within ourselves is at one with life, really, in a certain way. We are in the flow of life. And so there's just a connection there that carries us through. So this is where trust comes from. Like trust, for the trust to be present, there has to be something that we can trust. There has to be something to surrender into. We can't just be like, okay, I'm just going to trust, or I'm just going to surrender, when we don't feel something to surrender into. It doesn't work that way. There's something inside of us that we're like, nope, not going to do that. That's how that works. And we just think about, someone you're close to, how long it took to build that trust. And like, you don't just like soften into a stranger, it just doesn't work like that. There's something inside you that would be like, nope, 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 nope. And so there's a real intelligence to that too, which is amazing. So yeah, so there's a certain relationship with life we're coming into through yoga and into ourselves. That is the essence of trust and surrender, which is so good to have, a connection to. Hey, Rena.
Hi.
So, all right, so that is what we will practice today, along with our poses, along with what we actually do when we do yoga. All right, so let's take a comfortable seat. And of course, Rena, if you want to calf smash instead of, sitting and centering, and along with sitting and centering, you can, of course. But otherwise, we will come into a comfortable seat. All right, so sitting well, and this is what's happening as we're sitting well. Lining up, of course, our pelvis, the bowl of the pelvis, that it is level to the earth, and that lines us up physically, structurally, but also connects us to the support of the ground in a full way. And that also aligns us through our spines in a good, healthy way as well. Low back curving in, sitting up tall and easy. And that in turn opens up our breath just by sitting without changing anything. We're not trying to like right away go into, let me deepen my breath, let me, do the yoga breath, but just first we take several moments to just, line ourselves up in this way. When we line up the bones of pelvis and spine, we're effectively coming into our core, allowing for just a natural, a deeper, yes, perhaps some more freed up kind of pulsation of movement of breath in and out. And just the way that we are softening, the way that we're, I got it, Leslie. There you go. Yeah, there you go. That's a Mercury retrograde just there, that moment. Good to see you. All right, so yes, just by softening, and this is, the big picture here is that, yes, this is open to grace, this like softening into this bigger energy that's always there to support us. It's when we get bound up and stressed out and just hectic, and yes, when life gets intense, we resist, and we, from a small place, are wanting things to happen a certain way, etc. The unfortunate result of that is that we're even more blocked from what supports us. right? It's like this, it's just like a double whammy. So the process of just softening and releasing, and yes, your breath can start to help you with that. So just feeling the breath and starting to exhale, emptying out more fully. Let that help you to soften your skin, to get heavier through the bones, especially the pelvic bones, just releasing them down into the earth. Sacrum heavier towards the earth. Your legs, heavy bones of your thighs, just getting heavier. And then just feeling, just by in allowing that softening, there's almost always just a deeper in-breath that opens up, down and in, receiving that in-breath. And really it's an opening to receiving in-breath, but just because you softened, because you settled, the in-breath can actually go deeper, can go more down and widen out through the pelvis and through the lower, part of the ribs, especially to the back and the sides. And this is just this kind of unraveling process that we do that just, helps us already to feel what is there to release into, what is there that supports us physically, energetically. And it's when we feel that support, then yes, we can trust it. Yes, we can start to surrender more deeply into it, including the, our sense of, life circumstances or whatever it is that's, happening now that we need, that we're maybe struggling with. Or that we, it's not only the bad things, but like when really good things are happening, it's like, ooh, good things are happening and I want it to keep happening and never stop. It needs to go this way. I mean, even that's a form of not trusting, right? I do that all the time too. So it's all of it. And when we're in this deeper relationship, so just continue to exhale out more fully, receiving the in-breath down and in. We're syncing up with, yes, what is carrying us along ultimately, and then we can move through life with that grace. So again, that's something we have to attune to through this softening and just opening, this open to grace principle. And then when we move through our practice, that's the baseline. And then we can, use our effort and our skill and our will force to direct our actions around that, to deepen our powerful connection to our own self, which is that one with life, or our breath, our life force, and all these things. And so welcome a full breath in. And exhale, bring your hands in touch with the heart. And already just take a few moments to feel what you've connected up to, just in your breathing and softening. May we deepen our trust in life through deepening this relationship to what holds us, so we have something we can trust. It's the only way that works. And we'll open our practice together with 3 AUMs. Inhale fully, down and in. Lower your hands to your thighs. Lift your head, open your eyes. All right. Let's come up to hands and knees.